Chapter 9 is all about thinking clearly. If we think clearly, we'll be surprised how many times every situation that we think is a big problem can be broken down into a series of things that are smaller problems that can be taken care of, that we can handle. A lot of times, we may be in a set of routine of thinking. Every time we may make small things a big catastrophe, we may view them as a big catastrophe, and we may respond to every situation in much larger stress than we should ideally be giving them importance for. So every small things becomes stressful. Every situation that could be done and thought through clearly now all of a sudden is much feels much bigger of a problem than what it really is. So if we think through and if we think clearly, then we may be able to break down problems. We may be able to understand more clearly how big of an issue a situation really is. And so there are these 4 steps to decatastrophizing, meaning every time every situation is not a catastrophe, but our brain is wired, some parts of our brain are wired to stress response in like a fight or flight. And so we think of, if we don't think clearly, we may be able to we may be putting every situation as a big catastrophe. So the first step is to think clearly, is to catch negative thoughts, especially during problems or adversities. There might be times when you may see a sudden shift in your own mood, or certain issues that always bother you, habitual negative emotions that come out at certain times in certain situations. So pay strong attention to those negative thought patterns, negative behaviors, body conditions. Once you figure that out, that's already a big part of the thinking clearly. You are now aware of all of those negative situations, circumstances, problems, adversities that you have to face, and what happens internally within you. Right after, you would want to evaluate for accuracy of those situations or those problems or those consequences that you think will happen of those situations that are perceived as an adversity. Internally, you would have a self-talk of what will happen, what are the consequences, who is supposed to blame for this. And so listen calmly when you're trying to help someone. Evaluate for accuracy by not telling them the answer, but asking them with leading questions, saying, let's try to break this problem down. Do not be judgmental when you're trying to help someone. You may very quickly know that they are not accurate, but make them come to that conclusion by evaluating for accuracy, by breaking things down. Typically, most people have storylines of what happened. They have their own internal reasoning as to why something happened. And that story may be empowering, meaning they learn from it and now they can do bigger projects with taking care of the learnings. But that story might also be paralyzing. It may be that they never take that risk again. So accurate explanations or storylines on every situation that happened is something that we have to retrain. And these are part of our beliefs. These are stronger wirings in our brain that remain with us for a longer period. And so first, negative thoughts. Second is to evaluate for accuracy by breaking it down. Third is to understand what summaries or what stories we have formed or what conclusions we have formed, and figure out if they are accurate conclusions. If they are not accurate conclusions, then change the stories. That is where the biggest work will come. And finally, in the situation where you feel stress in your body or your mind, there is impact. And so heal yourself with equal positive and affirmative emotions and routines. so that your body stress, your mind stress is nullified. And ideally, you would want to heal not just with equal amount of positivity, but much more. So you would want to heal yourself so that in the moment you're not impacting yourself. You are learning the problem solving by better storylines, by having an accurate representation of what happened, who's to be blamed, is it empowering or not, and then changing the storylines by forming the right conclusions if they are not right conclusions. And for all of the problem solving skills and coping strategies are also needed, not just thinking clearly, but thinking clearly is a big step. Like if you can break certain things down into what happened, who is responsible, how we can make things better, and how to heal ourselves, then it'll set us up for success in a big way in the future.